18 months ago, I made a life-changing decision, quitting my job.
Okay, I quit.
This last year and a half was quite a roller coaster for me in both personal and business growth. I built products, I filmed and I wrote content, but I also traveled, reflected, learned, and after about 500 cups of coffee, I realized that this time turned out to be an unexpectedly personal journey of self-discovery. Let's start with why. Why a person that have perfectly good job decided to do something unspeakable as just quit it. As long as I remember myself, I always have very important value, and this value is independence. No matter how much I like the job I'm part of, no matter how much I like the company, it's still someone else's vision, it's still someone else's creation, and I need something of my own. You can argue that you can express yourself in companies, in big or small companies, especially on the decision-making roles, be part of something bigger. But it was never the case for me. It was never enough. I personally don't want to change the world. I don't have any huge ambitions of building something insanely life-changing for everybody. I like working on the small things, pieces of content or some products that solve some specific issue for specific people. If I build something that can support my lifestyle, be 100% independence, that's pretty much my definition of happiness. Another downside of having a full-time job for me is that you have to follow a certain schedule. And I'm pretty much a regular person. I really like to set my own schedule. Some days I just don't want to work. Sometimes I work on weekends or evenings, and I really like this irregularity, and I really like to be free and flexible as much as possible. That's why I always like freelance, because as long as I meet my deadlines, as long as I deliver my job to my customers, I can set my own schedule, I can work whatever. It doesn't usually matter for my clients. And almost any job implies that you follow certain schedule, but not only time-wise, but also you have to participate in certain meetings, you have to send particular reports and stuff like that. And I never liked it, and unfortunately, if you're part of the team, you have to follow it whether you like it or not. Also, let's be honest, we all want money, and making a good money, at least it's the case here in Europe, you have to go to corporations, to the big conglomerates and big tech companies. With big corporations, you become even less significant and you have even less impact. You're just a cog in a large, big machine. Anything you can chase there is basically higher and higher checks, which becomes this endless cycle in a rat race without making any impact. Like, why are you doing this in the first place? Money is not the end goal, for sure, at least for me. That becomes a dead end for me as well. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and there are some places where you can feel your impact, etc. I only have a few experience working for large companies, but it was at least my experience. And lastly, also related to money, when you're working as an employee, you're basically selling your time for money. It doesn't matter how much salary you get, you always have a ceiling. You cannot sell more time than you have, and you have a limited time. No matter how higher position you have, you will eventually hit the ceiling in terms of your compensation. It's quite literally time is money phrase is applicable to all the employees. Eventually, considering all the pros and cons, I decided to chase the independence, to build something that won't tie me to a clock. Basically, I set myself on the path of building something of my own that makes money. To me, it always were two main activities. First is building a SaaS products, meaning software as a service, some kind of platforms or tools that I can sell as usually subscription services. And second is building a content, creating content, as this YouTube channel, for example. If you look stories online, there are usually two types of people who quit their jobs. First is the people who just so tired, so burnt out, they just quit their job, and the hell with the consequences. I actually went through this path. Back in 2018, my wife and I both quit our jobs. We were so tired of working for corporations, we weren't enjoying our jobs at all, and we have a negative balance on our credit cards, and we quit anyway. We bought one-way ticket to Thailand, as Southeast Asia. It's supposed to be a bit cheaper destination, and it was super scary, but eventually it ended up pretty well, and we managed both become software engineer freelancers, find very reliable customers, clients, and eventually even moved here to the Netherlands, thankfully to one of the customers we found on our freelance journey. So for us, it turned out pretty well. The second category of people are extremely cautious. It's people who are part of the FIRE movement, for example, or financial independence, retire early. They work on their jobs, they invest in the stock market very heavily, and at some point they reach a certain portfolio number that can support their lifestyle for the rest of their lives. Or it's people who are building a business alongside their main job, and when the business starts making as much money as their daytime job or even more, people finally quit their job and moving towards the entrepreneurship. Both of these categories of people and paths are totally valid. It all comes down to risk tolerance. I understand both cases. My current endeavor is located somewhere in the middle. I definitely didn't achieve financial independence, especially to live here in a very expensive Netherlands, but I've been investing pretty heavily, basically all of my money left after my expenses, into the stock market, and eventually build a very nice portfolio that creates comfortable cushion that I can always lean on to if things go south. What is very important when investing is tracking your portfolio at all times, and sponsor of today's video, Snowball Analytics, helps me so much with that. Their platform has everything you need to always keep an eye on your portfolio performance. You can sync all your brokerage accounts automatically, and you will be tracking everything in one place. You can check your performance and growth, compare it to benchmarks such as S&P 500 index, check your diversification and portfolio distribution, and use many other tools. For people who heavily invest into dividends, they have probably one of the best tools on the market related to dividend tracking, payment calendar, finding the best dividend paying stocks and indexes, and even set yourself a goal for a passive income and track according to the goal what you need to do or adjust in your investing strategy. Snowball Analytics also have a nice community where people post articles about investing and also mobile apps so you can check your investment on the go. It's currently my main investment tracking tool and I highly recommend it. If you sign up by this link or use promo code Pashutskii on the sign up, you get 10% discount on any of your subscriptions. And thanks again Snowball Analytics for sponsoring this video. In addition to the investment portfolio, my wife is still working at her 9-to-5 job. She basically cannot quit because our stay in the Netherlands tied up to the working visa or blue card. For those who worried, yes, of course she is okay with me quitting, and I would say she was the one who encouraged all this journey, who pushed me towards quitting and trying my own thing. Hey Veronique, are you okay with me quitting my job, right?
What? Did you quit your job?
Never mind. So now, to the honest review and numbers. It's always the hardest to talk transparently on YouTube about your numbers, especially when you don't have so much to show for, but the whole point of my YouTube channel is to be as honest as possible, so here goes nothing. I can say with a complete honesty that those 18 months weren't a success. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to build anything that brings me a sustainable income. But let's talk actual numbers. Since I quit my job 18 months ago, the life here in the Netherlands cost me 50,000 euro. It includes everything related to my personal expenses. Mortgage or groceries, they split into two. It's actually a little bit more. It's approximately means I spend around 33,000 euro per year, and I was budgeting to 24,000 euro, but it includes quite a large purchases. For example, I bought myself a new camera, I bought myself new iPhone recently, a few medical large expenses. I went to Romania to do a lot of dental work, also a few repairs for the car. So there's quite a few large expenses which immediately brought the budget up for several thousand euros. That's actually should be expected. And also, of course, we spent 2 winters in Spain, and when we're going to Spain in winter, we're paying both mortgage and rental there in Spain, so it also adds up to the expenses. And regarding the income, of course, in the perfect world, I would expect it I make those 50,000 in the 18 months. Unfortunately, the income is way on the lower side, and in total during this time all my products combined made only 3,000 euro. Yeah, that's it. And as you can see by calculations, it's quite a big difference, and I would have expected to make at least 2,000 to 3,000 euro per month and not through the whole time, but it is what it is. On the bright side though, my investment portfolio in this last 18 months went way up, and if I consider the house price increase and all my investment increase, I'm totally covering all my expenses and even more. In that sense, I'm kinda in a plus, if you can count it this way. But I really don't want to rely on my investments. They should be there as a cushion, and I should be making active cash flow, active income. That's the whole idea. So with all of that in mind, the good question to ask is, do I actually regret doing this? And the answer is absolutely not. It's one of the best decisions I've made in my life, honestly. I know that many people will be like, what? What are you talking about? You're a complete failure, you didn't achieve your goals. The thing is, I realized that I'm definitely view money and life differently from many people. I see how people are really addicted to these salary checks, and the most important thing for them, for their stability, for their peace of mind, is to getting salaries every month. For me, it's not really the case, at least not at this point. The most important thing for me is that I have a plan. I have my net worth is okay. I always have a plan for the next like a year, and I always have a backup plan. If something goes totally wrong, I can figure out how to make money. And many people I know, especially in the current market, they afraid they won't find a job. I never had this fear. Maybe I'm arrogant in that sense, but even when I didn't have any skills and was in a way worse market in my home country, I still managed to make money somehow. I don't know. I just don't have this fear, and I will figure it out. I know that. So for me, it's totally fine. And the thing is, for me, it's an adventure of finding a life that I'm planning to live for the rest of my life. That's the path I'm on currently. And walking this path is definitely reassuring myself that this is a life I want to build, this is a life I want to live. Yeah, sure, I still don't have income and I don't really have an answer where it's gonna be, but it will. I know it will, and even if it's not, I will figure out how to supply it with some other types of income. The most importantly for me, this journey brings me so much self-discovery, self-analysis, and just understanding what I want my life to actually be. On this journey, I'm learning not only so much every day about the business side of things, about the craft, how to actually make money with your products, but also about myself, about my priorities, my values, my mindset. And I'm also focused on my health quite a lot. I learned how to cook, I do sports regularly. In general, I just feel much more happier than I was before. I'm super happy that I found something that I enjoy so much. Every day I'm excited for the next day. It doesn't feel like a routine. I just enjoying my life. That's the biggest reward you can get from anything, basically, to me at least. At the same time, despite what I just said, was this journey an easy? Absolutely not. Every day building a business, it's super hard. You constantly have self-doubt. You constantly have this uncertainty at every step of the way. I think if not my wife, I would have maybe just jumped back to regular job. She was so supportive and I'm just so happy to have her.
What?
But yeah, overall realization was it's definitely the life for me and I will continue until I succeed. Another point about the money, I'm not rich of course, but I have quite enough already and I have everything I've ever wanted in my life. I have a house in the amazing country I love. I have a car that I never even dreamed of before. I just don't have anything to want in terms of financial big possessions and lifestyle or travel. I can travel whatever I want and my lifestyle is completely satisfactory for me. So there is nowhere to go in terms of financial success. So I really want to focus on this lifestyle building. Most of my enjoyment comes from building something I believe in and hopefully bring value to other people and putting out there and seeing how people are using it. This is where I feel a rich life, if you can say that. This is where I see all my potential going, so that's where I'm moving towards. In addition, what I said about money, I have this flexible mindset still, flexible in terms of location independence and freelance. They always in the back of my mind. If, for example, many years I still couldn't achieve something, I could switch to freelancing. I think freelancing is always a great way to supply yourself with a little bit income, or I can go another road, just move to Southeast Asia again. And in Southeast Asia, my money, my net worth is definitely different. I think I can live almost my whole life there without any need for ever working again. So I can do fire in Southeast Asia. I think some people maybe view it as a downgrade of their life. I really don't. I'm enjoying my life everywhere. I loved my time in Southeast Asia and I still miss it a little bit. But I'm also, of course, enjoying life in Europe as well. So in total, to sum up, I'm not only do not regret my decision, but I'm sure as ever this is life for me. Of course, despite all of that, I still want to reach my ramen profitability. I still want to hit my goals in terms of revenue and monthly income. That's why I'm currently switching a little bit from those experimental products that I'm personally enjoying working on, but maybe they are not as profitable, to a little bit different path with more profit in mind products. And also I want to take my content creation a little bit more seriously. Regarding to my future plans, I'm currently working on the new startup together with my friend. It's gonna be for the first time for me B2B startup. Heard a lot of good stuff about building product for other businesses. I'm super excited to try it. It's gonna be my first time working with other person on the startup, with a co-founder, and I think we have pretty good synergy in terms of what we bring to the table for this startup, because we are from different fields. Currently we are only in the MVP building stage, so I'm probably gonna be talking about this startup more in the future videos, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Regarding the YouTube or content creation, my main focus still stays with YouTube. I don't have any immediate plans to adding anything else because I really like it. I just love making videos. You might know this or not, but I actually have two YouTube channels. One, this one you're watching right now, and another one in my native language in Russian. In recent months I've been thinking how I can combine those two. Audience, I would say, reflect much more with my Russian channel. I feel the community there. I feel people more relate to my videos, I guess. Maybe it's because I am from Russia and I'm expat from Russia and people kind of can relate relate to that. And here I'm talking about my expat experience, and people maybe prefer watching other native English expats. I'm not sure. I even thought about making this YouTube channel more focused on finance niche and niche that been historically more performing, and everything else I would post on Russian channel. But after thinking much more and much deeply on that, I realized I need to pick one channel and just stick with it, and I decided to pick this one. It's my oldest channel. I pretty much live in English in my life, even though it may be performing less than my Russian channel. I must ask myself which kind of YouTuber I want to be, which kind of content I want to create, and the answer is always English content. I will just continue doing what I was doing with this channel for a long time. I know algorithm doesn't like when I publish different niches, different topics, but I don't really care, because it's how I see this channel is going. It's a reflection of my life. It's a reflection of who I am. If I stick to one niche for finance, for example, it feels like it's becoming repetitive. I start reusing and recycle content, and I've seen it happens with many channels, and I don't want that. I will just continue posting whatever content I feel right now interesting for me, whether it's my expat experiences in the Netherlands, or it's my travels, or it's finance or business content. So I hope you enjoy at least some of it. And with the Russian channel, I decided to put a pause on that and maybe come back to it at some point when I have more time, more energy, and more just capacity to create so much content. The goal is to publish one video per week plus one short on Mondays. If you haven't watched, I'm trying to publish personal shorts every Monday, which I call Monday Coffee, so make sure to check them out. They kinda try to go against the regular shorts and try to like slow things down on your short feed. As usual, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments what type of content you prefer. I'm gonna be posting more polls, more surveys into my channel community, so I know what kind of content you want me to make. That's my story. That's currently where I am. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for sticking until the end, and I see you in the next one. Doei doei!